Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1. I have my latest video. Wow, what a video. I'm excited to bring this out. I think I've completely smashed the code here, but we'll see. We'll see how things play out here. Everything I've been saying about Trumpel and Iran and everything for years and years is playing out right before our eyes. And so there's going to be an attack on his family and such, I believe, or something like that, some 9-1-1 style attack. So without any further ado, I'll get right into it here, okay? So, again, I'm Exalted Lamb 1 on Telegram, but the Exalted Lamb 1 on YouTube. And my motto has always been having no part in the worthless deeds of darkness, but instead exposing them. That comes from Ephesians 5:11. And that's what the Lord himself, who I know personally, is giving me a task to do this for, wow, the last almost 7 years now on YouTube. And so I'm doing my best to alert people of what's coming and all the dangers that are coming in this timeline. And there's a timeline of 14 days / 16 because there's a pre-day and a post-day on these 14 days. And that transitions right into the tribulation time. And all these events are purposeful and reasons to crescendo into the ultimate destruction of Babylon, Mystery Babylon, which is the United States. If you don't know that, I'm sorry. It's the only place that meets all the biblical description, and also understanding what America has done all over the world. It's just crazy. So I'm sharing this on my thumbnail for this video, and I'm going to get into more on the very end of my video with what this is. But you can see here, it shows you the Strait of Hormuz. This is a scene from iPad Go 2, and literally I've decoded this as the Strait of Hormuz. If you see an actual aerial picture of, or I mean, I guess wherever this is from, whatever. But that's what it would look like from space almost, but wherever that is. And you see how this matches this, okay? And then you see an oil derrick right here, and that's pumping oil, and then there's literally oil filling up the strait here. And then now then the scene goes to an oil drop. Oil drip, or oil drip, or oil drop. It works either way. Oil drip, okay, is 4/7, 4th of July. And then Strait of Hormuz, July 4th. And then right here is hiding 2 and 5 is 7 and 4 plus 1. 7, 4 plus 1. So there's an event day as far as an attack that happens as well on that day in the United States against Trumpel's family. And then there's also this event of the Strait of Hormuz closing, which more and more foments World War III's. Okay, so anyway, hopefully that makes sense there. There's a lot more stuff, and I'm going to share some stuff at the very end about this and some details. And there's even a lot more than that I'm even going to share. And all these things I share, I have probably 10 times, 15, 20 times more stuff I could share. I have, hundreds of thousands of pictures and slides and all kinds of stuff that I've collected over 10 years, really, but 7 years on YouTube, to kind of finally figure out how this works. I think I've completely cracked it, but again, we'll see how this stuff plays out, which is next week, basically. Okay, so like I've been saying for a long time, and all my research shows that Stinky BO, the 44th Pres, Obama, is a clone of Akhenaten. And if you can't, this is my own artwork, by the way. I put these two together. If you see this out there from other people, that this is me that's done this. People have used it in all kinds of places. But this completely matches. You see even the crease right here, it matches exactly. This was a cast done of his face, of Akhenaten's face, and then from here is more stylized, like the brow and even the ear and all that stuff. But this literally matches 100% Stinky BO. And he was actually he was in the tomb of Akhenaten when he was a little younger, and he goes, "Oh, he looks like me." And then was not surprised. He was pretty much pointing out like, "Hey, that's me." And there's so much evidence. And one of those pieces of evidence is that Akhenaten exactly equals his name in Luke 10:18. So in Luke 10:18, Jesus said, "I see Satan as lightning falling from heaven," or lightning from the heights. And lightning from the heights is Barack Obama. Is my very first of over 1,000 solid evidences that Obama is the antichrist, and nobody comes close. Nobody. I've looked at every single person that was in contention that we know of and everything, and nobody comes close. He is the guy, and he's in so many things in movies and TV. representing him and everything. It's off the charts. And I'm just going to show you a few things on my videos, which I've shown so many things over the years, and peppered all kinds of stuff about him in my videos over the years. So bringing this case every video pretty much. Okay, and so that equals 79 is Akhenaten and 79 Barack Obama, translated from Aramaic Hebrew to English, and that's even in like Strong's and things. You have Barack and you have Obama, and then that's the transition is from basically. So, and then this is actually going to be the day he's reported dead, and that's very important to them. The day he's reported dead, and then he comes back to life, the Antichrist, with a head wound and everything, and then he's reborn basically to the world and presents him and the false prophet are presented to the world. So that day is July 9th. It's July 8th is when it actually happens, and then there's a reporting day of July 9th, and that matches 100%. And then we have here, in reverse ordinal, Akhenaten's also 1 plus 6 is 7, 4, 7, 4. Okay, again, July 4th, like I just showed you on Strait of Hormuz, because there will be an attack. It's one of his birthdays. His first birthday is July 1st and 2nd, which is, again, every event's a two-day event. There's an event day and a reporting day, and then his next birthday is July 4th and 5th, and it goes on from there. I'll show you the timeline here in a second here. And then Barack Obama is 79, and then also in reverse ordinal, it's 2, and then 1 from 8. All these things are hiding. This is all predictive programming. Everything in these characters' lives, like the false prophet, the Pope Francis, who died, but he's going to come back to life, and he's going to raise him from the dead, or at least it's going to appear that way, that he raises him from the dead, and all this. That's all. It's all predictive program for what's coming. And I've shown this for a long time, and I will continue to show this in things like this video. So 2, and then 1 from 8 is 7, and that's 2 7s. So you basically have the first day, it's 1 7 and 2 7. The third and fourth day, 7 4 and 7 5. Again, 2nd of July, July 4th, July 5th, and then July 8th and July 9th are his death days. And he comes back to life on the tsunami days, which are 7/12 and 7/13, and then the United States is done with nukes going off of 23 cities, and on 7/15 and 7/16, and then 7/17 is the day when the United States is destroyed. The Antichrist and the false prophet, Sticky B.O., the 44th Prez, and false prophet Francis come on the scene to the world and explain that these aliens who are showing up at that point, what's going on. And that's 717. 717, when you look at Jehovah spelled out in Hebrew, it looks like 717. He's the false God. He's the false Jehovah. And also 717 in Strong's is to pluck or to gather. That's also crazy too. Anyway, keep going here. So what I typically in my videos, I show English ordinal and its reverse, and full reduction and its reverse. So English ordinal, of course, is A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, all the way to Z. And then reverse would be Z equals 1, Y equals 2, X equals 3, and it goes that way. And then also full reduction. So you know what full reduction is. Okay, when you get, of course, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. When you get up to J, J is 10, but it makes it just one digit because you just add the two together. So K is normally 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. L is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then you just go to each digit, one digit value. So it goes 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 8. That's called full reduction. And then the other one I usually use, I mean, there's 30 some that I can reference at any time, but I typically, in most of my videos now, I pretty much just reference. These are called the base ciphers. Okay, the base cipher, yeah, what do they call it? Yeah, the base ciphers of Gematria are English ordinal and full reduction and their reverses. And then this is English Sumerian, which is English ordinal times 6. So again, A would normally be 1, but A equals 6, B equals 12, all the way, and it's reverse. Z equals 6, Y would equal 12, and it goes reverse. So basically 6 ciphers mainly. And once in a while I'll point out some other things in other ciphers. And that's the point, is because that's what they use. These are the ones they use the most in coding words and phrases and all kinds of things all over in media and everything. I mean, everything that mass media produces, they have all this this communication about what's coming and moving the masses towards that by programming them, predictive programming them to those things. Okay, for example, like Barack Hussein Obama, okay, are these in the base ciphers of English and reverse and full reduction and reverse. And it just so happens to be that, first of all, I'll say it this way. Again, these are some of the reasons of the 1,000 plus I have now. Some of the first ones that I found out in the beginning. For example, Barack Hussein Obama is 18 letters, and divide by 3 names, then that's 666. That's 6 basically letters per name almost, if you're going to average it. So that's the first where he's 666. Just there's so many. I'm just going to get into a few things right now like this. And then when you add these together, these base ciphers, okay, of Gematria, which are the main base ciphers of Gematria, these 4, you add them together and you literally get 666. And that's chance? No, I don't think so. And, like it says in Revelation, if anyone who has wisdom, calculate the number of the beast. And I'm using the wisdom of the Lord Jesus, who I know, and he showed me in so many ways. Stinky B.O. Obama is 666 in hundreds of ways, including his first name, middle name, last name, where he was born. Hawaii in reverse English Sumerian is 666. New York, where Trump will get killed, is 666 in English Sumerian. They're opposites of each other. New York is 666 in English, over here, English Sumerian, right there, is 666 in English Sumerian is New York. And then in reverse English Sumerian is Hawaii. Boom. Okay, it's 666. And that's all massive off the charts coincidence? I don't think so. Wrong. Okay, the next thing I'm going to share is the rule of Kal-El. This is a big rule in Freemasonry and has to do with just generally about numbers, but also about Gematria. The Kabbalistic rule of Kal-El states that one digit can be added to or subtracted from the Gematria value of a word without affecting its value. This seems to modern ears to be a cheat. However, the Kabbalists explain the rule by pointing out that for them, 1 was not a number. The monad symbolizes the divinity and could come and go as he pleased, adding nothing and taking nothing away. So it's important. I usually don't add a 1, but I will take 1 away to make a point, and I'll show you that in this video if you're not familiar with my videos. If you are, you know how this works. Okay, and I also want to show you that in this, they worship this symbol of the, the compass and the square. Wow, okay, woo, compass and the square. So the compass is at a 47 degrees, and of course a square is 90 first I'm going to take that 47 and put it down here. And then the square is at 90 degrees. So this is all coded, and people just don't realize what's there. And then G is also the 7th letter of the alphabet, and that's a 7, but I'm not going to get into all the things that this is. But I'm going to get into some of the things because it has everything to do with what's coming as far as the 4th of July. And then 90 is, you can use the O or not. O could be hiding something, and I'll show you in a minute. Or take the O away, and it's 9. Now 9, we're in the year of 9, which is 2025. Why? Because 2 plus 2, take the 0 away, and 2 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. We're the year of judgment. By the way, the biblical number 9 is judgment. It just is. I know all the biblical numbers that I've studied for years with the Bible and all these other things. So anyway, so there we go. You got 4, 7, 9, and take away the 0. 4, 7, 2 plus 2 plus 5. Yes, it could be other things too, of course, but it just happens to be that, and what I'm going to be sharing, yeah, I don't think so. And 47 plus 90, for example, for some of you that know, is 137, or 13th of July. That is the birth of the Antichrist on this timeline. It's the 12th and 13th of July. Also, last year is when Trump was shot in the ear, supposedly. And everything about Trump was shot in the ear, all this kind of stuff is all this numbers as well, but I'm not getting all of that right now. And then 47, which is, like I said, 4th of July. If you take 4th of July, take the 0 away, and you add 9 days, 4th of July, and then you add 9 days, you get 13th of July. And that just happens to be that also. What I just showed you, that this plus that, and then this, if this is a date plus 9 days, it also equals 13th of July? I don't think so. These are, if you believe in massive coincidence, because maybe you're a child of the movies and all that stuff, because most movies, the only way they could be a movie is to have massive coincidence upon massive coincidence, so you have a plot that actually all comes together within about 2 hours or whatever. and shows and all this stuff, that it's a massive coincidence. And most people have been programmed that massive coincidence, oftentimes coincidence, is normal, and it's not. There's no such thing as real coincidence just by chance. There's something behind it. There's a spiritual force behind coincidences. If you don't know that, you need to know that. So, and that's really important. So right here, this is the timeline. And I was originally on my last video, and it matched in so many ways. And in fact, there's a peripheral going backwards and there's a peripheral going forward. I'll explain some of that here in this video as well. But it literally goes all the way back to the first of the year, and it goes all the way forward from here to the end of the year, because right here, July 1st and 2nd are exactly the middle of the year. You see here, look at July 1st is the 182nd day of the year with 103 days left over. And July 2nd is the 183rd day of the year with 182 days left over. So right in there, right in between there, this is the pre-day and the first day, is exactly the midpoint of the year. Midpoint of the year. And so what's the opposite of that? The first of the year and or December 31st and January 1st. And who set that up? The Catholic Church, the Gregorian Catholic Church. It was Pope Gregory and the Catholic Church set that up because they're pointing to this, the opposite of the January 1st and December 31st, that transition, which is a transition to another age. So this is the transition which is opposite of that to another age. Hopefully that makes sense. It's absolutely true. This is crazy. And then there's a pre-day here, and this is on the Julian. So the Julian is 13 days earlier than the Gregorian, or Julian is 13 days plus to get to the Gregorian. 13 days difference between these two. What you have to worry about if you follow the Gregorian calendar, which is most of humanity on the earth. Some people still follow the Julian, but most do follow the Gregorian and other things too. But most of Western society follows the Gregorian, or lives in the Gregorian, really. Whatever that date is right here, then you that's the date we're looking at, and then it just happens to go 13 days. Take 13 days off that, go backwards, and that's the Julian. Okay, and then all these things are matching on all these things for different reasons. I'm going to show you more about that here in the video. So let's keep going. So also another thing that you need to know, another rule that you need to know, that is not a specific rule, but it's a rule that the Lord showed me over the years. I'm sure it's somewhere in Freemasonry. I just haven't been able to find it. Is that 0 is hiding O. And it's obvious because, if you have a course in college called English 101, most people say 101. Or in Colorado, there's an area code 303, but most people say 303. Or anything with an O, most people say O instead to make it easier. But the reason why you do that, not only because it looks like it, but also because you've been programmed to do it. It's not an O. A 0 is not an O. But you say O, 303 or 101 or whatever it might be, because you've been programmed, because media and everything has done that also for years, and so you do it. But it's not an O. If you're using the area code 303 that's in Denver, for example, then are you going to say, you can believe that that's an O and try to put in an O when there's no O? No, it's 0. Okay, it's 303. But some people still say 303, but most say 303, or all kinds of examples out there. So anyway, O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. So 0 is hiding O, which is hiding 15. Or 1 plus 5 is 6. Because in Freemasonry and in Gematria, they add numbers together to hide things, or they call it compressing numbers. So they compress 1 and 5 to get 6, or they decompress numbers. And one of the ways they decompress numbers is when you have O is 15, 1 from 5, like in Roman numerals. I from X, or 1 from 10 is 9. So you'll see an IX, and then that's 9. But so you have 1 from X, for example. 1 or IV. In Roman numerals, 1 from 5 would be apropos for this. 1 from 5, or IV in Roman numerals. So there's a precedent because it's Roman. It's Roman idea. 1 from 5 is 4. So 0 is hiding O, and O is hiding 15 or 6. 1 plus 5 is 6. Or 4. 1 from 5 is 4. Hopefully that makes sense. So since that's the case, we're going to make this 0, which is hiding O, a 4. See, 4? We're going to make that a 4. And what's crazy about that? Well, 4, 7 is what? well, 47 is half of 94, or 47 times 2 is 94. Why does that matter? So 47 times 2 equals 94. And that's what's hiding, because these are massive numbers. I can't even get into what these actually mean because it's so complex that I don't know how to explain it. And I'm going to try to do my best with this video to try to explain it. And the more the Lord shows me recently, the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, and He shows me more and more stuff, to all these downloads I'm getting, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is it. I believe this is the code broken 100%, but again, we'll see how it works. It's my best guess, but I'm pretty sure it's finally it. Everything opens up with this code. It's just crazy. Anyway, I can't I'll do my best to try to explain on this video, but okay, so what's up with that? So if you have, this is basically, again, 90 is hiding 90, and 9, that's 94, and this is half of this, or this is twice that. Okay, anyway, so Trump is 47 in reverse ordinal. In regular ordinal, it is 88. So he's Mr. 88. And I said this in my last video. Watch my last video if you haven't had a chance. There's a lot of details in there. Yes, I'm dealing with June, but it's on the Julian calendar now, and it's what it massively makes sense for. So anyway, 47, okay, 47 is Trump. And then 94 is what? Barron. Barron, literally, and both in reverse, is Barron. And so if you take both of these, 47 and 94, it's Barron Trump. By the way, if you don't know, he had a pen name, Barron Trump, before he had his son, Barron Trump. And then there's also a book out there called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey that was written in late 1800s. And the character on the book looks just like Barron Trump now, the 19-year-old. It's absolutely insane. This is all programming. I've done videos on that. Oh, that's absolutely insane, because it's not, reality is not what you think. It's programmed in front of you, so it gets everybody down this path to one world government, one world religion, one world evil dictator, and a technocracy basically that controls everybody. So that's where it's going. That's where it's all going. So Barron Trump. Now watch this. Okay, so Barron Trump, that's 47, and then 47 times 2 is 94, and then 47 times 3 is 47 plus 94, or 47, 47, and 47 is Barron Trump. Okay, but 40, and that would be both these together. Well, let me just show you. Barron Trump, which is 3 47s, or 47 times 3 is 141. Barron Trump. Or one of these and one of these, or 147 and 2 47s in this. Oh, that makes sense. And World War III is 141, and with World War III, III, that way, which is shown all over the place like that. III, like the third version, like, you know, like King Charles III, III. And what's III? III is 999. Or it's supposed to be 111 or one thing, but it's III all the time. Why? Because 999 upside down backwards is 666. That's all the reason for that. And then watch this. And then 47 times 5 equals 235. Does that have anything to do with Barron Trump? Now, I didn't do 4 for a reason, because there's some other things that it's too complicated to explain. But I went right into 5 next. 235 is what? Oh, Barron William Trump equals 235. And that's massively coincidental. And Trumple, the 44th president, Trumple, the 47th president, well, Obama's the 44th president. Trumple's the 47th president, and he was shot on 13th of July, which is 47. And Trump in reverse order is 47. And this is not planned. I mean, if you can't see that, I'm sorry, but I'm going to show you a lot more. And then Barron Trump dead is 235 on the other side with reverse ordinal, because his death is going to foment World War III. That's why he's so connected to this. And watch this. Okay, ready? Barron Trump dead is also 170, and that's also 1st of July, the first day, 4th of July, 1st and 2nd July, the first days. But it's hiding something else. 17, remember, 0 is hiding O, and O can be 4. That's 47 plus 1, or backwards, 47 plus 1, which is 4th of July plus 1. And that is the event day. That's going to be some kind of 9, 1, and then 1 event, which I believe, like I said, is going to kill kill Barron Trumple, and even possibly Melania, and it may be a plane crash of some kind that results in a plane crash or something. Not sure how it's going to go down exactly, because there's so much predictive programming on the possible ways and everything, but we'll see. And that's in so many movies. The woman and the child are killed, and then John comes back for revenge, or other characters that are similar to John or have the same number equivalent to John and all that stuff, because it's Donald John Trump is his name. And so his middle name is all these Johns. John McClane, John Wick, John Matrix, John this, John that. All these different Johns in movies come back for revenge because something happens to their family. Okay, and so he's come back revenge to Iran because something's going to happen to his family, and it's the Libyans. Anyway, it's a terrorist group that's going to do something. And then, anyway, I'm not getting to all that. How he's in Back to the Future and it's all the, oh, wow. He's also the Highlander. Trumple is the Highlander, like I've shared many times. His mother was Mary MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. And he is like Duncan, which is similar to John in so many ways. Anyway, I'm not getting into all that. Okay, and then over here, watch. Barron Trump dead is 170 or 1st of July, which is also hiding O, which is 4, or July 4th plus 1, or 4th of July plus 1 if you go backwards. And then, remember World War I was the other one, 141, and now World War III completely matches not only Barron William Trump, which is 170, but also Barron Trump dead, 170, which is also, again, 174, or 4th of July plus 1, 4th of July, 5th of July. That's all massive coincidence? I don't think so. And then, so remember, on this last June 19th, here it is right here, Trump decided within 2 weeks whether he'll take action on Iran. Within 2 weeks. Now, this is all over the place in movies and such, and I'm going to get into that soon, and what 2 weeks means and within 2 weeks. Okay, so, but first thing is, what is he saying? Within 2 weeks, he said it right here, and so it was symbolic of the Julian, and within 2 weeks, from when he said it, would be 13 days later, would be 7/2. From when he said it, 13 days later would be 7/2 on the Gregorian, and that's still June 19th. Okay, and that's within 2 weeks. It's 13 days difference. Hopefully that makes sense. And then boom, this timeline is 1 through 14, which is, and all these events he's hinting at are within, that are coming, are within these 2 weeks. And they would start on 6/19 on the Julian. And that's when he said it on the Gregorian, but it's symbolic of what's coming on the Julian and what's 13 days later, and it will start on 7/1/7/2. Hopefully that makes sense. And all these events will be within 2 weeks. Okay, also within 2 weeks is first letter code WTW. What's WTW hiding? Like we showed earlier, WWT. See, WWT. What's WWT? World War III. And World War III just happens to be, again, 170, like I showed you with Barron William Trump is 170, and Barron Trump dead, 170. Okay, and then what's, again, 1st of July right here, July 1st. And then what's this? Oh, 18th of June. 18th of June. 18th of June right there. And that just happens to match? I don't think so. And then, like I said earlier, also, 170 is 170, and O can be 4 or 6 or 15, but in this case 4, which is 4th of July plus 1, 5th of July. And not only is 1086 or 186 is June 18th or 18th of June, it's also the 186th day of the year, which is July 5th. The 185th day of the year is July 4th, and the 186th day of the year is July 5th. So we have 4th of July plus 1, which is July 5th, and then we have the 186th day of the year, July 5th. So we have July 1st and July 1st and July 4th and July 5th and July 5th right here, all hidden in this. Okay, and then the other thing I want to mention here is we have what 170 is also in reverse ordinal, Three Gorges, like in Three Gorges Dam. That's the area, and then there's the dam. Three Gorges, which is going to go off on the first day, and I have so much numerology for this that they use for 1st of July. A lot of 17s all over the place with Three Gorges Dam, Three Gorges, Yangtze River, which is what it's on, and all this stuff. So I believe it's going to be, for all kinds of reasons, symbolic and numerically, there's going to be Three Gorges Dam break in China on this first date, and reported on 7/2. So it happens July 1st, reported July 2nd. That's my best guess. And you have it right here. 1st and 2nd of July. 1st and 2nd of July, which is also 12/7, which is forecasting the water with a water birth, water breaking. Get it? Water breaking. So it would happen back here, 7/1 and 7/2, or 1st and 2nd of July, and then it's forecasting that the Antichrist is going to be born on the 12th of July. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's happening on 1/7/27, 1/7 right there, and then it's saying, oh, here comes the birth of the Antichrist with a water breaking, boom, this is the tsunami days. The 12th and the 13th are the tsunami days. Again, water breaking, rebirth of the Antichrist. He dies right here on 7/8/79, 7/8/79, and then he comes back to life 7/12, 7/13, introduced to the world with the false prophet on 7/17. Anyway, and then these are 1/7/4 also, which is 4th of July, plus 1, which is 5th of July. Okay, anyway, and then we have that 1/2/7 right here, the 1/2/7 or 12/7, which is 12th of July, or 1st and 2nd of July, okay, is also in 9/1/1 attacks. There's so many things in these attacks that happen that are all predicting this future 9/1/1 attack, not only on July 4th and 5th, but also July 7th and 8th in New York, when the nukes goes off in Manhattan's, because this happened in Manhattan as well. Okay, and then it was what buildings were hit? 1, 2, whatever, and 7. And that's 12th of July or 1st and 2nd of July. See that? And so it's saying, oh, so many things in here are secretly and predictive programmingly saying to the masses that what's about to happen, what's going to happen in the future. That's how it is. And also on the 12th, December 7th is when Trump, the spear, the golden spear right here, who's going to spear the Christian nation by his stupid decisions on purpose, looking like on the conservative side that he's all doing the right thing, and on the liberal and other side looking like he's a psycho and everything, and he's actually looking like both. He's looking like a complete psycho, and he's a caricature of a person. He's a demon in a flesh suit, basically, and he's going to foment World War III, like I've said for a long time, and it's happening right now. I've said this for years, and I said it would be Iran would be the first player and all this stuff, and then Russia's going to get involved, and then even China eventually, and China and Russia is going to invade the United States with the sleeper cells that are here from Iran and other places. It's just crazy. That's all. My wife had dreams about that. I've seen that as well. It's all coming, people. I mean, if you don't believe it, I'm sorry, but it's happening. I mean, it's almost about to completely happen. And so that was when he was in. This was a picture I took that shows an iPad Goat. This is the character Donald Trump that was actually an iPad Go released in 2012, way before he was president. Here he is making the little triangle thing. There's this little hair, the way his hair is parted like that. And then you have the checkerboard floor sitting. He was in Notre Dame, the reopening of Notre Dame on December 7th. Okay, and there's so much. And then watch this. From the day he was there, right here with Macron. By the way, they had the same numbers. Donald J. Trump and Emmanuel Macron had the same numbers, which are 4th of July and 888. 888 plus 888 is 1776. Oh man, I showed that in my last video. It's crazy. I was right about that. Okay, and they were there right there. They were there December 7th, 2024, the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral, and then to the first day just happens to be July 2nd. Just happens to be 2nd of July. That's all. Nothing to see here. I got a lot more, so much more. And then Trump, like I said, is 47. It's hiding 4 sevens. 4 sevens, okay? It's not only just 47 and all that, it's hiding 4 sevens. Because it's 4 times 7 or 4 sevens. Because 4 times 7 would be 49, and 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 49. Okay, anyway. Or 4 sevens. Okay, this day, which was October 5th, 2017, see the 217? This is also something else. I'm going to tell you what this is. This is the first day, July being the 5th month and first day, and you have July being the first day, and July 1st and 2nd in the year. But this day, he said, it's the calm before the storm. Okay, so watch this. He said the calm before the storm on that day, and I'm going to get into more details on that in a second, because they asked him some details about that, and he said, you know what this represents? It's a calm before the storm. Anyway, The calm before the storm. Okay, this is English and reverse. They work hand in hand. The forward and reverse of these different gematrias I'm talking about. So watch this. So there's a few different ways of doing this, but I'm going to do it this way. 13 plus 8 plus 6 is 27. And then 2, you can bring that down. And then 7 is hiding 2 plus 5. Or you can decompress 7 into 2 plus 5. So you have that right there. And then watch this. Boom. See the 21 and then the 6. In this situation, you just get rid of the 0. 21st of June, 2025 is when Trump bombed Iran. Okay, the 3 different so-called nuclear sites. Okay, on that exact day, and he's warning of this. Also, that's what's also hidden here is the exact calm before the storm is the day before the timeline starts, which is 6. 2 plus 1 is 3, and then now we're going to include the 0. Put the 0 right there. So 6/30, 2025 is June 30, 2025. The next day is July 1st, the first day of the timeline. Okay, now watch this. Now if we take the day he said, the calm before the storm, okay, and then you add his name, which is 4 sevens, or he's the 47th president, which is hiding 4 sevens. 7 years from when he said the calm before the storm, 7 years, 7 months, 7 weeks, and 7 days. You literally have, oh, what a surprise, June 30th, the calm before the storm. See, June 30th, see, June 30th, 2025, see, June 30th, 2025, okay? The calm before the storm starts on 7/1, okay? That's the timeline. It begins on 7/1. I'm telling you, believe it or not. And then he was there on, and there's like in a sense, kind of a storm when he was the opening of Notre Dame. It was 12/7, December 7th, and that's also 12/7 or 12th of July, and that's a storm. Then these are 2 tsunamis. They hit both coasts same day. Oh, by the way, to see my timeline of all the events in the exact events in this timeline that I just showed you, that's pinned to the top of comments on this video. Okay, so I almost forgot to say that. So, okay, anyway, so then this is where he was. He was in the White House underneath Lincoln, who died, who was shot, and he's going to be shot with a missile in Manhattan. He's going to be in Trump Tower. Well, it's so funny because a few days ago, on the right day of the numerology, his son, Don Jr., or Donald Trump, Don Jr., get it, Donald Trump, was in Trump Tower promoting Trump Mobile. Mobile service, mobile phone service for $47 a month. 4 sevens and 4/7, 4th of July. It's crazy. This is crazy. So that's saying that's confirming even more, even super recently, that he's going to be at Trump Tower for some reason. Maybe there to promote it with him, because he was already there a few days ago. It's crazy. This stuff's crazy. You can't make this stuff up. It's there. Okay, so first thing he said to them, there's a military couples. By the way, military couples is the numbers. There's so much stuff. Lincoln, painting of Lincoln is the numbers here of this attack day of 4th of July. But I can't show everything, okay? But what did he say? This is first letter code for, do you know what this represents? 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 Do you see first letter code? Do you know what this represents? Get it? First letter of each word. It's the calm before the storm. What is it, Mr. President? The calm before the storm. I mean, that's what he said. It's just crazy. And so, is this going to relate to the calm before the storm statement? And I just showed you Gematria. Oh yeah. So here's the numbers: D equals 4, Y equals 25, K equals 11, W equals 23, T equals 20, R equals 18. Now I did R equals 18 in red because red we're going to cross off. Red we're going to get rid of because 1 plus 8 is 9, and you can use that sometimes, or you can, anything you add 9 to stays the same. For example, if you have 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, then take away the 0, you're back to 1. So that 9 and 19, you could take that off, and that became 1 because 1 plus 9 is 10, take away the 0, and you're back to 1. So anything you add 9 to stays the same. So we're going to get rid of this, for example, and we're going to bring this down. 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, 1 plus 1 plus 23 is 25, and then we're going to bring this down. And because this is a 9, we'll get rid of it, and it gets red, and just scratch it off. Look at this, 4th of July, 2025. 4th of July, 2025. And that's a massive off-the-charts coincidence? No, I'm going to show you a lot more. Okay? Because what happened, the calm before the storm, is the calm before the storm that happens on July 1st, but then it really kicks off on July 4th and 5th and the other days after that. And then the tsunami days and all that stuff, all these different events. Again, if you know the events, they're pinned to the top of comments on the timeline I'm showing you. It's crazy. That's not a coincidence. Okay, again, remember this is 12th of July, the storm, the tsunami day, also 1st and 2nd of July. 1st and 2nd of July, it means, these things mean so many things. And they mean this, the 1st and 2nd week. 7 is week. Okay, watch. So this is 1 week first, and he kicks it off with some announcement he's going to have. Maybe brokering a deal finally with Russia and Zelensky, which is going to completely backfire. And he did the predictive programming of that, brokering a deal on the exact first day of my timeline at that time in the White House when he had Zelensky in there, and it was the first day of my timeline at that time. And then it backfired. They argued, and he kicked him out of the White House on that first day of my timeline. Then, when I was, it's so crazy. But that's showing that they're going to do something. They're going to have something that eventually, it looks like anyway. Okay, and it's going to ultimately backfire, and it's going to foment Russia getting into with Iran against the United States. Okay, so that's the first. This is the first week. The second week, and kicking off the second week right here is the end of the first week is the death of Trump and Obama. Trump in New York and Obama in Hawaii, and then the reported day is 7/9. Okay, and that kicks off the first of this week. And that goes to the last day, which is the 16th. It should go right. Oh, sorry. I mean, this is 14 days, and there's a post day and a pre day. Anyway, so you have 1 week and 2 weeks, or second week, or 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Total Recall. If any of you remember, that's in my head forever. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, the character. Hauser that was in, and I could go into that and show you all the same things that have to do with all the stuff in July with Total Recall. Oh my goodness, it's just massive. Total Recall is 218. TR is 218, and 1 from A to 7. 27. Total Recall 27. 2 weeks. First letter code TR is T is 20, take away the 0, I got 2, and then R is 18. 218 or 1 from A, like I showed you earlier. 1 from A to 7, 27. Total Recall 2 weeks. Again, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks of events going off, and from when he said it, within 2 weeks that this would begin. And I'm going to show you also what 2 weeks is and break it down for you soon here. Also, from the pre-day to the middle day, which is 7/8, okay, 7/1 to 7/8 is 8 days, and then 7/9, exactly when Trumple and CBO are killed, to the last day is 8 days. 8 and 8. Oh, Trumple just happens to be 88, and that's because he's going to kick off with an announcement the first 8 days, the first 7 days, but also the first 8 days, and then also kick off the first 7 and 8 days with his death, announcement of his death. So that's why another reason why he's 88. I'm telling you, believe it or not. And then from his birth to, for example, the attack that happened on 9/11, which he commentated on and all that stuff, and he said he saw it happening, it was right there, or he saw it after it happened, and he was watching what happened, which is, you can't even see it from where he was or where he said he was at. Look at this, 2/17. Look, 7/1 and 7/2, or July 12th, and then 9. Remember I said earlier, 9. We're in the 9th. We're in one of the 9 years, which is 2 + 2 + 5. Okay, that just happens to be that? I don't think so. And then Barron was born. This is the date of Barron's birth. Okay, Barron, and his death, I'm saying, is going to be July 4th. Oh, look, July 4th, and then 7 is 2 + 5. July 4th, 25. That just happens to be that? I don't think so. And then from Trumple's birthday to the day the Antichrist is false prophet, because it's all about promoting them. Antichrist and false prophet Francis, and Sticky B.O., the 44th president, is going to be the Antichrist on the last day, 7/17. Trump would be 28,888 days old, which is 2 8s and 888. 2 8s, and Trump is 2 8s, and then Donald John Trump is 888. Or Donald J. Trump, one of the two is 888. I mean, look at that. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. And then also in his birthday, okay, in his birthday is 6/1/4, or 7/4, 7/4. And in his this is a month and day is 6/14 or 7/4. And in his year is 1. Again, take away anything you add 9 to stays the same. Get rid of the 9. 1 plus 46 is 47. 7/4 and 47 in his birthday, and that's another coincidence. And he's the 47th president that's kicking off World War III with Iran. And then July 4th, 4th of July, right here. And then watch this. Ready? If you go from his birthday again, June 14th, 1946, to his to the day he attacked Iran, okay, 6/21/2025. Oh, and just happens to be 7 days after his birthday. That's another coinky dink. I don't think so. He just happens to attack Iran 7 days after his birthday. No, and he had a big parade on his birthday, of the anniversary of the military or the army or whatever, and that's so much in all that too, because it was the 250th anniversary, and that's 250 is 6 also, which is I'm not getting into all that. Anyway, sorry. Okay, but look at this. From that his birth to when he attacked Iran, 74 years. Remember over here, see. 7/4/47, 7/4/47. Watch, it's a template right here from his birthday, which is 7/4 and 47. Now add 7/4 and 47, 7/4 years and 47 months and 47 weeks and 74 days, and you get to the exact day he bombed Iran, and that's in his birth. 7/4 and 1 plus 46 is 47. 7/4/47, 47, 7/4, and that just happens to be that. I don't think so. Also, let's look at what I decided to do. As I was like, oh, that's 74. Because we can make this 88 because Trump equals 88, because this is 47 backwards, which is Trump, and let's make this 88. When we make that 88, it's the exact day it's reported that there was an attack on the United States of 5th of July. So from his birthday, when you add 74 years, 47 months, 47 weeks, and 88 days, you get July 5th. The reporting day of the attack on the United States, again, that's a 9, 1 and then 1 style attack. And that just happens to be that. And then if you look at this backwards, 88 and 88 in regular Gematria or English ordinal, and in reverse Gematria is 47 equals Trump. Nope, I don't think so. And this between this time and this time is exactly 2 weeks. Nope, don't think so. And then from when iPad Go was released, I'm not going to do a ton about iPad Go except for some stuff on the very end here of the video. But when iPad Go was released on July 3rd, 2012 to July 2nd, and that was not a coincidence, it was released July 3rd to July 2nd is 47 days, 4,747 days. 4th of July? I don't think so. And then from the day iPad Go is released to the last day of the timeline, when nukes go off and all this stuff, and that's shown in iPad Go when the Antichrist comes out on the boat of Anubis out of the cave, and then all these water lilies spring up, and those are nukes going off, and that's the last day of those. A bunch of nukes going off, these water lilies springing up out of the water as he's coming out, be introduced, and you see the sun in the distance and all that, and the Antichrist is introduced to the world, and that just happens to be 4761. What's 4761? It's John. John is 4761. What's 4761 also? 4 days and 7 months into 1961 is Stinky B.O., the 44th president, Barack Insane Obama's birthday. 4 days and 7 months into the year is August 4th, 4th of August, 1961 was his birthday. And that's also the false John the Baptist is what Trump is. He's the dark John the Baptist. He's ushering in the false Christ by all this crap that's coming. Okay, anyway. And then from July 5th, okay, the reported attack on the United States, his family and other things that's coming after the 4th, the reported day is the 5th, minus 7 years, 4 months, 20 weeks, and 25 days is the Revelation 12 sign. Look, July 4th, 2025. In years, months, weeks, and days, gets right back to the Revelation 12 sign. Not a coincidence. There's so many of these. I'm just going to show you some. There's so many. I have so many right now. It's just insane. And from the Revelation 12 sign, when you add 74 months, July 4th, 74 weeks, July 4th, and 74 days, you get the death of the Antichrist on 7/8/2025. One of his births on 7/4 and 7/5, and his death on 7/8 reported on 7/9/2025. July 4th, July 4th, July 4th, July 4th, 2025. Are you kidding me? Bam, nailing it. Look out. Okay, and then again within 2 weeks. Okay, so that is, I highlight this, within and then 2 weeks. They're two different things. Okay, and it's in quotes. Within is 79,474, and 2 weeks is 121. Watch this. This is 79, and look, this is 7 hiding 7, and 4 plus 4 is 8. The death of the Antichrist on 7-8 and 7-9, and then 2 weeks is also 7. 2 plus 6 is 7-8. I'm going to tell you a little later what 121 is. I'm just going to explain a little bit better later. But what's within also? Within is 7-9 and 4-7-4, Barack Obama, like I showed you earlier. And 2 weeks is Antichrist. Within 2 weeks is hiding Barack Obama, the Antichrist. I'm telling you, it's there. And then what's crazy about the death of the Antichrist and Trump on July 8th and July 9th? But Trump was 78 this year when he became president, and on his last birthday, June 14th, a week and a half ago, whatever it was, he's now 79. And those are the 2 days this year, the 2 days he's going to die. Die this day and reported this day, and that exactly equals Trump. That's his. That's the day he's going to die, or day he's going to die. Day he dies and reported day, and he was 78 this year when he became president, and now he's 79. And just a little bit ago. No, I don't think so. See, it's all numerology. And the 47 and even the 45th president it's all numerology because it's 54 backwards and it's many other things, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Okay, 216. What is 216? That's the day CKBO, the 44th Pres, Barack Hussein Obama was born, the 216th day of the year. And 216, like I shared many times, is 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, another reason that he's the Antichrist. Remember I showed you earlier, Barack Hussein Obama, 18 letters divided by 3 names is 6 plus 6 plus 6. The base ciphers of Barack Hussein Obama equals 666. You add them up together. He's born on the 216th day of the year, which is 6 times 6 times 6. And he's not the Antichrist? I mean, seriously, where have you been hiding? If you don't understand this, you need to understand this. He is the guy. And if you think it's somebody else, you don't know anything about the subject. I've been studying this a long time, and I have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of evidences in movies, TV, thousands of numerics, all kinds of stuff that blow. Listen, I've shared this many times, but when he was president, the Triple Crown winner in the horse racing, the Triple Crown winner was American Pharaoh. Remember I showed you he's Akhenaten, American Pharaoh. What's an American Pharaoh? A president. And who is the American Pharaoh at the time? And who is Akhenaten? Really? Stinky B.O. Obama. I mean, are you kidding me? There's so many of these things. Okay. So 216 backwards. 216 backwards is June 12th when Israel attacked Iran this year, and then 216 this way, 21st of June is when Trump attacked Iran and bombed those supposed nuclear sites. Boom. And then also you have 2, and then 1 plus 6 is hiding 2-7. The first day, 2-7. And he said 2 weeks on 6/19 on the Gregorian, and it was hiding that it's coming on 7/2, which is 13 days later. And there it is, 2-7. See, it's all about 666. See all these versions of 666, and that's what 2-7 is. The first day, 7-1 and 7-2, but 7-2 is 2, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. See? Okay, this is crazy. Okay, also, to give a little bit of background about what 216 is and how it's all over the place, everywhere in all this predictive programming. 216 is 108 plus 108. 108. Now, see, most people say 108, 108. Okay, do you see it? Do you say 108? You've been programmed. If you say 108, you've been programmed. I've always said 108, and I say 108 when I have to do with these videos, but I always purposely say, because I'm kind of particular about my speech, I say 108 all the time. I rarely ever say 108. So 108, 108, or for this video, 108, 108. Okay, that's what 216 is. And what's 108 or 108 is 180. Just move the 8 and the O and move it. Okay, and that's the birth of the Antichrist on 6/29 on the Julian, which is 180th day of the year, and it's 4th of July on the Gregorian, which is the day with 180 days left over. And there's my timeline, and there's the day of the year on the Julian, and you go over here to 7/12, or remember 217 or 127 right there. Okay, Julian and Gregorian, or 4th of July is the 185th day of the year with 180 days left over. 180 or 108. 108 or 108108 right there. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay, and then 108 or 108 is what it really is 54 plus 54. What's 54? It's a lot of things in predictive programming, but the one that hits me the hardest, that most people don't realize, because there's two 54s in 108, which is half, and there's two 108s and two 16, which is Obama's number, which is 6 times 6 times 6, is 9, 1, and then 1, which is the 254 day of the year. 254s. The 254 day of the year was 9, 1, and then 1, 2001. And that's 254s. Who just died and made that and pointed that out? The guy who died on the 111th day of the year, the opposite of 9, 1, and then 1, the 111th day of the year, which was the Pope. The Pope died on April 21st, the 111th day of the year, with 254 days left over, or 254s. 254s. Get it? Okay. And also from that day that was opposite 9, 1, and 1 on April 21st, the 111th day of the year, from that day to the first day is 72 days. It's incredible. From this day to the first day, 71 days to July 1st. And then from the day he died to July 2nd is July 2nd. And then the day he died, July 3rd, is July 3rd. And the day he died all the way to July 8th is July 8th, or 78 days. And then it goes up to, of course, the day he died to July 9th, the reported death day of Trump and the Antichrist on 7/9 is 79 days. I'm not going to show you every single one, but there you go. See, and that's all coincidence. Do you understand? From the day he dies to this day, July 8th is 7/8, which is July 8th. 78 days. Yeah. And he died on the 111th day, and from that day to the day of the death of the Antichrist is 111, or 11 weeks and 1 day. There's all kinds of stuff. I can show you a million things. And then 54 is 27. This 54 out of these two 54s. 54 is 27 plus 27. And what's 27 plus 27 hiding ultimately? It's hiding 2nd of July, and then 2, like I showed you earlier, 2, and then 7 is hiding 2 plus 5. So 2nd of July 2025 is ultimately a breakdown in 6 times 6. All these different things that we've been programmed to are versions of him and his birthday and the antichristedness of him. The antichristedness. So I made up a word. Anyway. So, and then look at 2/7. That comes out of 2/16. Another version of 6/12 or 2/16 is 1/26. Okay, 1/26. Okay, by the way, this is the day a few years ago that the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, was killed in a helicopter crash. And by the way, helicopter in English Sumerian equals 666. Helicopter, look it up. In English Sumerian, helicopter equals 666. He was killed in a helicopter crash on January 26th. And then later that year, 216 days later, on August 28th, was Chadwick Boseman was killed, the Black Panther. So you had the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, which I chronicled all this in my videos. The Black Mamba, which is a symbol of the Antichrist. If you look at Obama's presidential portrait, the first one, his foot looks like a black snake in the grass, and because goes back to Satan. Okay, and then the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, died was killed, ritualistically killed, actually, on January 26th. And then 216 days later is August 28th, which is the death of the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. Okay, and then his birthday, and then that day was 126 days from the end of the year to the end of the year. See, 666, 666, and Obama's the Black Mamba, like I showed, because that's the snake in the garden, in the grass, and that's showed in his presidential portrait. Wow, I can't even talk. His presidential portrait, his foot looks like a snake in the grass. I've showed that many times. And then he's the Black Panther because the Antichrist is symbolized in the Bible as a leopard. And what's a panther? A panther is a leopard without spots, solid black, like a Black Panther. But that is a leopard. A leopard. He's the leopard. He's the Black Panther. It's the Antichrist. Okay, there's so many things. There's so many things that Chadwick Boseman also and Kobe Bryant represent Obama so many ways. They knew each other. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's just, it goes off the charts. I've done videos on this stuff. Okay, anyway, but also, the point of this is you have one a version of 216 is 27. Another version of 216 is 126. And then 1 minus 26, or 1 from 26 is 25. So we literally have 2nd of July 25, all in 216, or versions of 216, which is Obama's birthday, supposedly. Also, the reverse of 27 is 7-2, of course, 2nd of July, July 2nd, or July, and then 2 can be 1 plus 1. So that's 7-11. Who said something about 7-11? He did. Back when, in 2016, which is 216, see? 216. Back in April 18th, 2016, which is 216. Again, that's 6 times 6 times 6, 216. He said 7-11. He said, I was down there at 7-11. And people were like, oh, he messed up. He really messed up. That was 9, 1, and then 1. I can't say 9. I can't say what it actually is. I can say 7-11. I can't say 9 and then 1 and then 1. I can't say that because I'll get my video even more shadow banned than I already have. Because those are buzzwords. Those hit the algorithms. He calls it 7-1. He calls it 7-11, and then they spell it like the chain, like this chain of stores. They spell it like that when it should be just 7, 1, and 1. But I'll tell you why they do. But this is the day he said 7, because he was hinting. There's a lot of hints in this whole thing. And I'm gonna show you a couple of them. The day he said it and the reporting day was the next day, and that's all hidden. The attacks that are coming are right here. Now watch. There's so much here. Okay, watch. So 4/19, the day it was reported, is the 4th month is June on the Roman calendar, because we're talking about Roman and Gregorian and Julian, which is 30 days earlier. So June 19th, June on the Roman calendar is 4, so that is 6/19, June 19th. That's what it's hiding. Then over here, like I said, over here is 2. 1 plus 6 is 7. So it just so happens to be, like I said, when Trump said 2 weeks on 6/19, 13 days later, this is like on the Julian, 30 days later is 2/7, or 2nd July on the Gregorian. And then let's look over here. Oh, right here. Then we have 21/6. He bombed Iran on 21st of June. Now look up here. What's this? Oh man, I clicked too far up. It's 4. 1 from 8 is 7. 4, 7. And it just so happens again that 21st of June, 13 days later, like I showed you, is 4th of July. See, it's all in here. It's a little matrix in here. This plus 13 days, 6/19 plus 13 days is 2nd of July. And that's when he said 2 weeks to decide if he was going to bomb Iran. And then the day he actually decided to bomb Iran, boom, right here, 13 days later. So again, supporting the Julian, that from this to that is 13 days. And from this to that is 13 days. And then, like I said, he said 7-11. So if you look at 7-11, it should just be the same. It should just be, but that's the way it should say 9, 1, and then 1, and then 7, 1, and then 1, but not 11 spelled out. Why isn't 11 spelled out here? Because they're predictably programming you. They're pointing you to the chain, which is programming you, and also that. So the chain of stores called 7-11 is also programming you to the attack that's going to happen on 7/4, and it's also 7, 1, and 1, which is July 2nd. Okay, and 7-11 spelled out like you see in the bill, on their signs. If you've ever seen the 7-Eleven, I don't know if you're not in the United States, maybe you've seen them in other countries, I don't know, or maybe not. It's a massive big chain in the United States of little convenience stores, 7-Eleven. Okay. Remember, O or 0 is hiding O, and O can be 4. So 4 equals 1 from 5. So that's 7/4, or 7. We got 7/4, and then 1 plus 6 is 7, and O is 4. 7/4, 7/4. See, it's hiding that and programming you, and you don't even know it. Okay, and then let's say you were to really do it. If you spell out 7-11. What is that? Again, we have this again. We'll do it right here. 6 is the middle of 19, and there's 6/19 right there. And then 13 days later is 7/2, or 2/7. Why is this 2/7? 1 from 28 is 27. See? and then we have 2-7 right there. And these are exactly 13 days apart. So again, it's programming you to when he said 2 weeks, he meant within 2 weeks it's going to start, and also meant all these things are going to happen within 2 weeks of this time that he said it, but it's really this time, because this time will really be this time on the Julian. And it's all programmed. Hopefully you're following what I'm saying. It's kind of complicated, some of this stuff a little bit, but hopefully I'm laying it out for you. Okay, and then again on 6/21, he said after they bombed the sites, he said, we have completed a very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. Okay, Isfahan. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to take that first, and this was highlighted on this particular post. The first, I could do the whole thing and several of these different things, these different sentences, but I'm just going to pick the first sentence. Now watch, this is the first sentence. Show you what's in this whole thing. This is crazy. Again, see the 1117 one. Anyway, watch. So this is in here. It doesn't all fit in here, but it's all in here. Okay, and we have this. Now watch. We have 7. Okay, and see how these two work together. We have 1, 1, 1, and then 1 right here is 4. And then we have 20 backwards plus 5. 25. 7, 4, 25 in these two working together. Okay, and that's a massive off the charts coincidence? I don't think so. Because what he's did there with that attack will result in us being attacked by Iran here in the United States on this day. And I've always known for a long time, for years, that July 4th was a predictive programming, fireworks, explosions. It's predictive programming for an attack coming at this time. That's an iPad Go with the skeleton, with the explosion behind him. It is 4th of July. Anyway, and then right here, 9/12. What's 9/12? And this is also showing that this has to do with 9/1 because most people don't know, but 9/1 was an attack on the United States in New York back in 2001. But the reporting day of 9/1, also proving the reporting date and how important that is, was 9/12. See, 9/12. And so then you take 9/12 and showing that it's a important date. Upside down, 9/12 upside down and backwards is 21/6. 2/16. 21/6 was when this exact thing happened. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites. Okay, so that's all there. Let me go back here. See, we got what happened and this actual what happened on this date and what's going to result. And they're both the same. And they both have, see how they boom. This relates to this because they're both in reverse, and this relates to because they're both opposites. So they both share this, which is the year. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and then he said 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Well, look, July 4th, go backwards, July 4th plus 1, July 4th and 5th. Well, from July 4th plus 13 days, or minus 13 days, is 21st of July, or 21st of June. Okay, or if you go July 4th plus 1 is July 5th, okay, minus 2 weeks is 21st of June. So 13 days or 2 weeks exactly. Boom, hope that makes sense. And then the sites that they supposedly bombed, because we don't know what actually happened, who knows? You see, unless you're there and see something firsthand, you don't know if it's completely fake or partially real, any of that stuff. People believe all the stuff that's reported like it's real, and a lot of it's fake. Or a lot of fake stuff mixed with real. But whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters to them is the message to the masses and how it's programming them. So one of the sites of the 3 is Fordo. And look, 2nd of July. Natanz, which is full reduction plus reverse full reduction, together is 2. 2 plus 3 plus 2 is 7. 2, 7. And then the last one, Esfahan, is 2, 7. See this balance right here? These 3, you have the first one and the last one are both 2, 7, and they're opposites. Reverse full reduction and full reduction. And then the one in the middle is both full reduction and reverse full reduction put together. See, I find these patterns, and they work, and they're amazing. They're incredible. And that's exactly what's going on. And they're all 7, 2 is 1 and 1, or 7-11. Down there on 7-11. And that represents an attack. Okay, the beginning of the timeline is July 2nd and July 1st and 2nd. But, okay, and this was a screen that was shared about their operation with the U.S. government seal on and all that stuff, showing the operation the bombers going across. This was supposedly, classified at one point, and then it was declassified, of course. Okay, so That's Operation Midnight Hammer. First thing is right here, 21st of June was when it happened. 21st of June, and remember 9 is high, we're in the one of the years of judgment, which is 2 plus 2 plus 5. 2025 is 9. Okay, and then let's go over here. So remember, O can be 4, and then 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 from 8 is 7. Just doing it that way without highlighting these. But see, 7, 4. So we got this action. Well, this action here on 21/6 called Operation Midnight Hammer will result in us being attacked on 7/4/75. And then what's this? Well, again, remember I showed you earlier, the reporting day of 9/1 was 9/12, and 9/12 is the 255th day of the year. Remember I said earlier 9/1 is 254, the 200 or 254s, the 254th day of the year, and 9/12 is the 255th day of the year. Again, showing that this relates to 9/1 because it's the reporting day, 255th day of the year, and there's a 9/1 event coming on 7/4. Okay, I'm just telling you, with 9/12, and turn that upside down and backwards, and again you have 21/6, the 21st of June, when this actually happened, which will eventually result in this right here, 7/4 and 7/5. Okay, also this is first and last letter code as well. So first and last letter code. So O is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. So we're going to bring that 6 down. And then M is 13. H is 8. 13 plus 8 is 21. Oh, look. That happened on 6/21, which is not going to only result in 7/4. It's in the last letter code that's going to result in the death of Trump eventually, very soon, in a few weeks. And that's NTR. NTR is 14, 20, 18. So watch this. 14 plus 20 is 34. 3 plus 4 is 7. Oh, it looks like July. And then we got an 18 right here. So watch. Rule of Kalal, you take any one away, so you have 7/8. That's the death of, I'm saying July 8th, the death of Trump and Sticky BO. Or leave the 1, or put the 18 back, and then 1 plus 8 is 9. The reported day. So you have 7/8 and 7/9. Just remove one with Rule of Kalal, or leave it there, and you got 7/8 and 7/9. This action on 6/21, Operating Midnight Hammer, written in its own code, was 7/4. I showed you earlier when you do it with Gematria, and first and last letter code was another form of Gematria that I only know that I've ever seen that I do this, and it works incredibly. And that's the day this action is going to result in his death on this day, and they're going to say that they killed both of them as also recompense for Soleimani and the other guy that Trump had assassinated years ago, when he was president the first time, whatever year that was. I think it was 2018? I think it was the first and second and third of 2018 or something, when he had Soleimani, one of their biggest generals, or their biggest general, and another guy killed. So they're going to say, oh, we got you back with 2 presidents. We got the United States back with Trump and with Sticky BO, no Obama, okay, in Hawaii. So anyway, and then look, remember Operation Midnight Hammer, they're admitting that the United States is the hammer. It's Babylon. Look, hammer, Midnight Hammer. What does it say? If you know the Bible at all, which I do a lot actually, Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become desolation among the nations, which is going to happen in this timeline? The hammer of the world is the U.S. military. If you doubt that, you don't know nothing about nothing. The United States has been called, the United States military has been called the hammer of the world, and it's in the Bible. And this hammer will be cut asunder and broken. It says the walls of Babylon will be knocked down, and then it will be destroyed in one day, and all this stuff. Yes, it will. Nukes will go off in 23 cities in one day. That's all in my timeline pinned to the top of comments. Telling you, it's crazy. Okay, so then after that's done, right, he bombs whatever, and with that one message also, then he gives a series of messages, and these are covered by a big news outlet. I'm not getting into that right now, but a big news outlet, they released these at the right time. Watch this. They released this one. It was CNN. They released this one. I'm not going to say who it was, CNN. Okay. I'm not going to say who it was, CNN. Okay. They released this one, and it was 1/7, 1st of July. They released that one, and it was how many minutes into his post when he that's how many minutes when it was posted. So when they take a screenshot of it and then share it. So look, 1st of July, this post. 2nd of July, And these are all in order of his posts. 4th of July, 5th of July. Are you kidding me? Do you see that? Okay, again, these were all messages by Trump in order, and CNN released it 4th of July, 2nd of July, the 2 first days. And then 2 attack days of the 2 first attack days, 4th of July, 4/7, and 5/7. And that's a coincidence? I don't think so. Okay, within 2 weeks. So Trumple's 2 weeks predictive programming obsession. And what I'm going to show you in a second is a video a little over 3 minutes long where he's been talking about 2 weeks forever. Okay, and there's a far more. Just was put together with this amount. There's far more than this, okay? But here's this. This is crazy. He's been saying 2 weeks because it's programming. Some of the stuff I showed you already, and that 2 weeks, I'll show you eventually how it equals exactly the day he said it within 2 weeks. Okay, and it's in the movies and TV, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And I'll share a little bit of that. But anyway, I'm going to run out of time at some point, probably not make this too long. But here we go. You ready? Let's roll this bad boy.
Policy speech in 2 weeks, and I think you're going to like it.
We're going to be announcing something, I would say, over the next 2 or 3 weeks that will be phenomenal in terms of tax.
Wiretap covers a lot of different things. I think you're going to find some very interesting items coming to the forefront over the next 2 weeks.
We'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks as to NAFTA.
I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
What about infrastructure? When is that going to happen?
We're going to do infrastructure very quickly. We've got the plan largely completed, and we'll be filing it over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
When will you make that decision?
Over the next couple of weeks.
We're doing very well in the fight against ISIS, as General Mattis has just explained, and we're going to be having a news conference in about 2 weeks to let everybody know how well we're doing.
And the mines are starting to open up. We're having a big opening in 2 weeks.
We've had tremendous success against ISIS in our fight in the Middle East. We're doing very, very well. We're going to be having a news conference in 2 weeks on that fight.
Our Secretary of Labor is coming out with a plan in 2 weeks.
You're going to have some big news. I think we're going to have some of the big drug companies in 2 weeks. We are coming out with that plan in 2 weeks. We are coming out with so many health care plans.
And women, unemployment recently reached the 65-year low. We think that's probably the lowest ever. But as I've been saying, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it will be. Within 2 weeks, I think you'll be historic numbers. We're signing that deal in 2 weeks. We have the dumbest immigration laws in the whole world. Watch what happens over the next couple of weeks, folks. Wait till you see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a very secure border.
We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be seeing a lot over the next couple of weeks.
I like her very much. In fact, I'll be seeing her in 2 weeks.
And we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks that'll take place over the next 2 weeks.
And we're doing one other thing that, believe it or not, is even bigger, but you'll be seeing that over the next 2 weeks.
It doesn't have to be today. It can be tomorrow. And it can be in 2 weeks from now. You understand?
I said, do me a favor. Tell the Prime Minister that I'll call him back in 2 weeks. I'm busy. He said, 2 weeks? That's a long time.
It'll be under construction very shortly, in a couple of weeks.
The peak, the highest point of death rates, remember this, is likely to hit in 2 weeks. We have tests coming out, perhaps over the next 2 weeks, that will blow the whole industry away. And you'll be seeing this over the next, I think, over the next couple of weeks.
The coronavirus is disproportionately affecting communities of color. I wanted to know what your administration will do to address this.
We're coming out with a report in 2 weeks on it, and I want to get to the bottom of it, too, because it's a totally disproportional effect. It really is. It's pretty amazing, actually.
We will be doing another stimulus package. It'll be very good.
When are you going to do it? When are you going to announce it?
I think over the next, I think it's going to be bipartisan. I think it's going to be over the next couple of weeks, probably.
I want to ask you about minimum wage.
I'll have a statement over the next 2 weeks on minimum wage. We're going to have another exciting news conference over the next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks? What do you think? Maybe in 100 years from now, maybe in 2 weeks. Who knows?
The problem is, folks, they all have a memory, including us. 2 weeks, and we forget.
Okay, that was crazy. Hopefully you saw that. And even when he says a couple of weeks, that's all gematria for the same amount. So it's weird how it works. I'm not going to show you all that. Again, I can show a lot of things, and it just takes so much time. I don't have I'm sure you don't have 5 hours to watch a video. So, but when he says a couple of weeks and some other versions of that, one, whatever, they're all somewhat versions of that. It's weird. It's all demonic that's within this person or these people. They say these things just the right way and everything. It's really crazy. So anyway, before I get into that exactly what 2 weeks is, I got to do a little bit of prefacing here. So first of all, again, we have the first few days of the timeline that they show a ton, the most probably, and then there's the tsunami days and their death day of them and all that stuff next. But to give you an example, just with the first few days, 7-1 and 7-2 and 7-4 and 7-5, okay, and that's July 1st, July 2nd, and on the Gregorian, and July 4th and July 5th on the Gregorian. Okay, so those also are represented and symbolized in other things in numerology by July being the 5th month on the Roman calendar. So that's represented by 5-1, 5-2, 5-4, and 5-5. July 1st, July 2nd, July 4th, and July 5th being 5. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So, and let me give you an example of that. So now that's hidden. So antichrist equals 121 in English ordinal. Well, 121 just happens to be the 121st day of the year, 5-1. Okay, May 1st. But May 1st is a symbol of 5-1, symbolic of 5-1, which is also July 1st. Just like Jesus told me a few years ago, he said, everything for them is a code of a code of a code. So you can't just take things at face value. It's a code pointing to another code that goes to another code, and then maybe sometimes 3 or 4 or 5, 6 levels deep, and then it gets to the actual thing that they mean. Because they can't show you exactly what it is. They got to show it upside down, backwards, reverse, opposites, or a code of a code of a code. So, for example, Antichrist is 121. Well, what does that mean? Well, I believe I finally figured out what this is all about and what it means. It's all centered on July in this time frame, and they refer to different things. So, for example, like I said, 121 is the 121st day of the year, which is May 1st, and then May 1st is 5-1, and 5-1 is also July being the 5th month in the Roman calendar 1, which is July 1st, 7th month, first day on the Gregorian. And then right here, so that's the Antichrist, which is Nobama, okay, Beelzebub head, okay, and then his false prophet Francis, Pope Francis, is 122, and the 122nd day just happens to be, you guessed it, May 2nd. So again, these are hiding 5-1 and 5-2, or 7-1 and 7-2 being July, being the 5th month, when July is really the 7th month, but that's showing that. See, hopefully that makes sense. Now let's go over here. So this is in reverse English, for an example. There's some different ones I can use, but I'm going to use this to show you what I mean. So 894 in reverse English Gematria is 8 plus 9, is hiding 8 plus 9. So we combine these two, we compress these numbers. 8 plus 9 is 17, and then 4. 17 and then 4. And that's showing this, hiding this. 7, 4, rule of color, you can take any one away, like I showed you earlier, which is July 4th, or 1 plus July 4th is July 5th. So this is showing July 4th and July 5th, and 5-1. The first day, right here, 121st day of the year, 5-1, which is May 1st, but it's also July being the 5th day, July being the 5th month, first day. And then this, see how these coordinate? Watch this. So that was the 122nd day of the year is 5-2, which is also July 2nd or July 2nd. And then right here, this is a little bit more obvious. We have rule of color, take the 1 away, and we have 7-5 right here, 7-5, July 5th. And then, or 1 from 7-5 is 7-4. See, they're both 7-4 and 7-5, and they're both one of the first 2 days in July. It's hidden. Okay, another example is that July is also September, because September is a 7, because septem in Latin is 7. So when you think they've been telling you it's the 9th month, no, that's why Trump said I was down there on 7/11, because he was hinting that September is 7. And so if September is 7, that's hinting of July. See, again, these are all hidden. This is all predictive programming of all these different events, so you don't know what's going on, and you're being programmed to ultimately July. Another example of this real quick would be coming to my mind was the moon landing was on July 20th. July 20th, take the 0 away, and you have July 2nd, the first day, the moon landing. And that symbolizes a new age, a new area, a new age. So when they went to the moon, it was a new place, a new age, a new time, a new destination. This is a new destination starting 7-2, or the moon landing on 7/20. Get it? And then right here, these hiding July being Septem 1, Septem 2, 7-1, 7-2, 7-4, 7-5. See, hopefully that makes sense. Here, give me a few examples of that. I can give you so many examples of all these, but I'm just going to show you a few because, again, I don't want this making this a super huge video, 4 or 5 hours or whatever. So, okay, it just so happens that the first day of World War II was September 1st and of 1939, and it just so happens coincidentally that World War II, the last day of World War II was 9/2, 1945. That's a coincidence? No, it's not. I mean, if you think that's coincidence, you got to check yourself. Check yourself. Okay, and then the most famous 9/2 that's hidden is 9/1 + 1. See? Again, that ultimately is pointing back to here, which starts the timeline. It's 7/1 or 7/2. Get it? Or 7/11. 1 + 1 is 2. Get it? Okay, hopefully. And then the notorious 9/1 they called it for Israel. Israel's 9/1 they called it was in 2023 was October 7th, or 7/1 backwards. See, 7/1, 7/1 backwards. So we had the first day a 9/1 event, and then we have the second day a 9/1 event, which is 9/1, but it's hidden by 9/1 is 9/2. Or again, just hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to explain this well, but this is credible. This is what's going on. These are hidden, and then this goes back farther, the 4s and 3s and all the way down to 1, and then from this way, because Novem is really 9, and it means so many different things. Okay, so then watch. Then also let's look at 9/5. 9/5 is 9/2 + 3, hiding 9/2 + 3, and that's when Obama and the Pope met on 9/23, which is 9/5, which is really 7/5, about an attack that's coming on 7/5, because 9 is Septem 5. 7/5 is what it's saying secretly. Okay, also Revelation 12 sign was on 9/20. If you know about the Revelation 12 sign, that was on 9/23, or 9/2 + 3 is 5. An attack coming on here. This is a birthday of the Antichrist. Birthday, and then it's going to another birthday, and then a death day on 7/8 and 7/9, and then rebirth days after that. Rebirth of the tsunamis day when lightning falls from heaven, Satan is kicked out of heaven, and lightning, like a lightning bolt, and it goes into Obama's body, and Satan incarnates the dead Obama to become a zombie kind of thing. And that's why zombies, because he's going to be the first one, or I mean one of them too. He's the main one. Also, he's an alien. All kinds of stuff, because the Satan is an alien. He's not from this planet originally, no. So he's an alien. So that's why aliens are coming. They're all versions of Satan. All this stuff and all this predictive programming is coming. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And then again, so all these things, even beyond that, going this way to the forward to the year, and that way backwards, they're all pointing to this. The middle right here is the exact middle of the year. Okay, right there, 7/1, 7/2, boom. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, this is my massive theory, and it looks like it's supported 100%, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. I don't know the future. We'll see how it plays out, but it looks like I finally figured this out. So, okay, and then for example, let's go back to the 2 weeks thing. Oh, look, 1/21, 5/1, which is really 5th month, first day, July 1st. And look, 9/5. Remember, 9/5 is really 7/5. You got 9/5. 2 weeks is 5/1 and 7/5. And to prove that even more, this is September 5, which is 7/5. And look, 7/5. And I have so many of these examples that I could share to prove what I'm saying. I'm sharing all this because I have hundreds and hundreds of examples on each subject I talk about, more than that sometimes, maybe thousands of examples. And so I'm not just saying A plus B equals C. I'm saying A plus B plus D plus C plus 7, whatever, equals all this, because it's all this other support. Okay, so 2 weeks. What's in 2 weeks? Many things, including first and last letter code. First letter code is TW, which is, and then last 20 and 23. Last letter code is OS, which is 15 and 19. Now let's deal with the last letter code first. So 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 19. That's when he said within 2 weeks. 6/19, and that's a coincidence? Even more than that, watch this. If we could take this 0 away, 2 plus 23 is 25. Now I'm going to just take this and put it up there. Boom. So look, with the last letter code and first letter code put together, we have 6/19/25, and that's when he said within 2 weeks that he's going to make a decision about Iran. I mean, are you kidding me? So this is monumental. That's what 2 weeks is all about in movies and TV and stuff. And when he said that, because in itself is the date he said it. So that, I'm just telling you, folks, believe it or not, that's how this stuff is. We'll eventually get to the meaning of these words that are used, and these symbols and these events will eventually get to the meaning ultimately in the future of what these things are programming people to. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, then another way of looking at it is, remember, 0 can be 0 and we get rid of it. So 2 plus 23 is 25, and that becomes a year with this month and day. Or let's look at this way. 0 can be 0, which is 4, like I showed you earlier, which makes this 24, plus 23 is 4th of July. So yes, he said 2 weeks has to do with that, and this will result eventually in an attack that happens against America on 4th of July, and that's another massive off-the-charts coincidence? I don't think so. Okay, maybe there's some other things that could be besides what I'm saying, yes, but it's a massive coincidence, and that doesn't mean anything? I don't think so. Also, within 2 weeks, when you do first and last letter code, let's take those first and last letter code away, first and last letters away. Within 2 weeks is a week. 1 week. Remember I showed you earlier how 127 is 1 week and 127 is 1 7 and 2 sevens, or 1 week and 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, it would take your first and last letter code or last letters away is week. And then it just happens to be first and last letter code. We're going to jump to first and last letter code right now. 23 plus 1 is 25. the year that this happens. And then what's left over is 5-5. Or July being the 5th month, 5th day, July 5th, 25. And that's right here, July 5th, and the year 25. And that's pointing to July 5th. July 5th being the 5th month on the Roman calendar, and then July being the 7th month on the Julian, which is the same thing, but just, hiding it, of course, boom. And then here he's in 2 weeks' notice. With 2 weeks' notice it's just crazy. Again, he gave a 2-week notice. And he's in a movie called 2 Week Notice. And there's so much numerology and all this, I can't even say. But look right here. Wow, what am I saying? Wow. Look, it's an hour and 41 minutes. Remember, 141 was 47 times 3 is 141, which is Barron Trump. Barron Trump equals 141, and that was his pen name also, Barron Trump, and that just happens to be 141. And 141 is World War III, which happened because Barron is killed, and maybe Melania and other things. This attack that happens on American soil looks like 4th or 5th of July. Yeah, this is all coincidence. There's so much more I can get into. I'm not going to right now. I'm getting to about the end of this. And then in the movie Oblivion, which the Lord had me watch recently during this time, and it blew me away because when I was watching it, there's so many things. The first thing you see is a drone. The first drone you see, the drone is 185. 185, they even call it drone 185. Drone equals Barack Obama, and 185 is the 185th day of the year, 4th of July. And this guy represents the Antichrist in so many different ways, in so many different movies. Okay, and in that movie, they have 2 weeks until they were going to leave the planet to go to another planet called Titan. And they were completely duped by these aliens. They thought they were going against them, but they were working for them. And they had 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left. There's so much, and everything I just showed you about 2 weeks is because they said there's 2 weeks left. And then, again, this has everything to do with the 4th of July, like I've shown you in 2 weeks. And remember, Tom Cruise is so many movies. He's like the guy, and he's like a superhero kind of guy, and he's amazing, and all this kind of. He's had so many movies like Mission Impossible. We could do anything. He's all this stuff. And don't forget, he's in a movie where he was born on the 4th of July. The Antichrist was born on the 4th of July, like I've been saying, and he's got a movie called Born on the 4th of July. He's a symbol of the Antichrist. It's in his name and everything else. I can show you so many things. And he's also the Top Gun. The Top Gun. TG-27. TG-27. Oh my gosh. So much. TG is 27. Or 27. 2nd of July. So many things. I could just go through. I'm not joking. I could do a 3-hour video on Tom Cruise and how he's the Antichrist and how his numerology hits this timeline like 100%. And here's one example of that. Tom, let's go with just break down his first name. Tom is 20, 15, and 13. Tom. And I highlighted these so you can see. Look, watch. 1, get rid of the 0 on this situation. 1, 2 plus 5 is 7, 1 plus 3 is 4. Look, July 4th and 5th. 1 plus 7, 4, and 7, 4. For the 5th. Cruise. Ready for cruise? I can put them together too, but I'm just going to show them separate just for the heck of it. Look, 75. Look, 75. 7, 4, and 7, 5. 7, 5, and 2025. 7, 5, 2025. There's way more. I'm just showing you some. Okay, like here. Now let's get into this. My thumbnail on this video. Strait of Hormuz closes. I've been saying this for a long time, for years, because it's an iPad Go, and I found all kinds of things that show that that's an iPad Go. First of all, you have this. So let me start with this. So this is the first. This is video of a movie. Okay, but the first scene you see exactly is it shows you this zigzag thing, and then it shows you that there's an oil derrick, and then it's dropping a drip of oil. Okay, and that was like, okay, where is this? And I looked it up. I was looking up. Oh, there's a thing called the Strait of Hormuz, and it looks like that. Okay, but then watch. Then it drips like this, and then it goes in, and it makes something in the water. Okay, this is part of analyzing stuff like this. iPad Goat is a massive puzzle, and each scene is a timeline of events that are coming in the future. And this is all massively demonically inspired. It's about the dismantling of the United States and the destruction of the United States and all these different events which result in the birth of the Antichrist. And at the end of the movie, the Antichrist comes out of the cave, and he's come to introduce the world on the boat of Anubis because he dies and comes back to life. And that's the Antichrist. Okay, so watch. Drips in there. And what this is there's a number of things, but right here is 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, watch. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 is 1 from 48 is 47. And 894, which is 174, or July 4th, and 1 plus July 4th is July 5th. Okay. Also, it could be 321. 321 is 1776. And we know if you say 1776, we know you're talking about the 4th of July. 1776, we're coming. Alex Jones says it's 1776. And that's 4th of July. And why does he say it all the time? Because he's talking about the attack that's coming on 4th of July, and you don't even know it because he's controlled opposition. Okay, and then or 3, you can add an and in there. You can be sick. You can say 3, 2. You can call this 321. You call it 321, or you call it 321. And look, that's also 174. 174, 174. And then the last thing that you could call this is 321. 321, 3 and 21, 321. You can maybe call it 32 and 1, but I didn't go there. I could, I'm sure. But not only is it 18th of June, the pre-day on the Julian to the timeline, it's also the 186th, like I showed you earlier, 186th day of the year, which is July 5th. So, I mean, again, it's showing you when this drop of oil and when the strait is going to close. The drop of oil means it's closing off, and all that stuff. You should be able to figure that out without me telling you. And then it morphs. It keeps going. This drop keeps changing, and it changes to this, and then it cuts away. And this is, I found this a while back, is a 6, backwards 7, and a 1. Or backwards 176. Okay, a form of that. See, sometimes letters can be backwards but still be what they are. Sometimes they're backwards for a reason because you have to read it backwards or whatever. Different reasons. Okay, this is so crazy what this is. By the way, this has to do with the date. This is transitioning. This scene right here, and scene right here. Why are you seeing some more stuff in this scene? And this, because it's transitioning into a different scene. This becomes the Statue of Liberty on Ellis Island right here. And this becomes Manhattan. This becomes Manhattan. This area here. Okay, this becomes Manhattan. Again, you don't know this until you kind of put 2 and 2 together and in context of the rest of the video and life and other sources and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of stuff you have to know how to decipher this crap. That's very detailed. It's symbolism on top of symbolism everywhere, and details and gematria and everything else. It's crazy. So watch. So what is this? This is give you a bearing that what this oil slick is when this starts appearing, and this starts appearing, that this is Ellis Island right here, and this is Manhattan right here. This is Manhattan. And there's a nuke going off right here on the 176. Well, it just so happens that the day I've been saying for years the nuke would go off, the 8th day, July 8th, is the day with, did you guess it? 176 days left over. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And there's a nuke. That is a nuke going off. I'm sorry. I just know what it's showing, some kind of something that's spiraling around or whatever. It's also back when these hurricanes were hitting different things. When a hurricane, what was it? What was it now? Which hurricane was it? Olivia, I think it was. Olivia hit Hawaii. So this is New York, and this is when this fully comes through. It's a little. It looks like a little. An iPad Go. It looks like a little iceberg on the water. This looks like an iceberg shaped as the Statue of Liberty, and then this is like a little iceberg, and it's a HI. It's a big H and a little I for Hawaii and New York. They're both going to get spanked. Okay, and there's so much I've figured out in this video. But anyway, when this Olivia hurricane came through, right around here, this number was the date. It had to do with the date. And I was like, what the heck? It was crazy. So these things are multiple meanings. But now I know this is Manhattan here. That is Statue of Liberty, which is on Ellis Island right there. This is Manhattan. And there's a nuke going off. And that's, I believe this is the 176 backwards. 17 backwards. 17 backwards 6. Okay, 176. The day with 176 days left over is July 8th. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then 176, sorry, this way, 6, 7. It doesn't matter how you do it because it doesn't matter the order. It's the same words. 671, because you can count this backwards or it's just a 7. 671 just happens to be 1 plus 46 is 47, and 1 and 1 is 2, 5. 47 or 4th of July, 25. Another way of looking at this is 176 backwards. 176 backwards. 176 backwards is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4th of July. And then 8 plus 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. That's 115 or 25. 4th of July, 25. 4th of July, 25. That's all. Maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe there is. Maybe I found it and I've broken this whole thing. Maybe it's going to take a little bit longer. It's possible. But I'm telling you, most of these things are going to happen. Many of the biggest events I've seen in dreams and visions and all that. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. And I want to thank everybody who's ever supported this channel, who supported my ministry, supported my family, given to us, prayed for us, shared our videos, give me thumbs up, positive comments, all that stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A million times thank you. And the ones who supported me financially, I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you even more. So, because, you kept me alive and my family alive. And I'm just so thankful for all. Mean it. I'm telling you personally right now, to your face, thank you. Thank you for bothering to pull into your wallet, symbolically, pull into your bank accounts electronically, whatever, and helping us out. We really appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate all the support in every way, praying and everything. Oh my gosh, I felt so many prayers at so many times. So thank you so much. And then also want to take this time to, ask if you're able to give. Just in the description box below the title, there's a description box. Title of the video here below the description. In the description box is ways of helping us out. We really need to cover groceries for about a week and a half. We typically need about $300 to $400. I need to cover that. I need to cover it. I gotta need it right now. I just need it right now. If you're able to give, please. PayPal. You could do that way. There's even a PO box. We'll also have Zelle Pay. You can sign up at zellpay.com. Or just contact me if there's another way you want to send me something. Let me know. But so thank you so much. We really need it badly. I have 4 kids and a wife, and we need to cover food. And like I said, it's right now about $300 to $400 that we need to cover. So right now, thank you so much. And then, hopefully in about a week or less, about a week from now, from today, this starts kicking off and we start seeing the first events. Again, they're pinned to the top of comments on this video. You can see all events from day 1 to day 15, 16 and all that, even the 17th day, and about the the rebirth of Antichrist Obama and false prophet Francis. So I'll leave it at that. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.